for a dog. My age of dog years, well, I'm dead. My son had calculated not too long ago that I was 328, so I'll let you guys do the math on that. Honey, as a greyhound, is capable of hitting speeds in excess of 40 miles an hour. We'll talk about what that is that allows a greyhound to hit those kinds of speeds, but she's remarkably fast. My top speed, while I was at a pizza buffet, I outran 3 of those women to the front of the line. And I am sure, there's a woman sitting in this chair here, she had a cane, and she tripped me up just as I was ready to pass her, or I know I could have beaten her too. Honey, as a greyhound, was also a racing dog. She raced 77 times. She won 9 of those races. She finished second or third 17 times. She raced in Iowa. She raced in Florida. She raced at a grade A level, which is the highest speed level for greyhounds. And her grandfather is Dutch Bahama. Dutch Bahama is a Hall of Fame racing champion dog, considered one of the fastest dogs in history. And she did all of that before she turned 3 years old. Wow. My racing career also ended around my 3rd birthday. And I was at a cheese-starting hunt, and I'd fallen down, way back there. Didn't get a single jelly bean out of the whole deal. So my racing career, not quite as exciting as Honey's was. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about Honey as we move along, but before I talk more about her, I have a question for the kids, and this is for the kids only because I'm not sure how some of the adults might answer this. How many of you guys have your birthday tattooed inside your ear? I know for a fact that there's a girl in the library who has her birthday tattooed in her ear. And it's this ear right here. Because Honey was a racing dog, she had both of her ears tattooed. And so I can look in Honey's right ear, I can see her birthday. See, they tattoo their ears because when they start a race, they check their tattoos and make sure it's the proper dog entering the race. And so when I look in Honey's right ear, I see she was born in October of 2004, so she's 6.5 years old, and she'll be getting ready to start 1st grade in the fall, right? And then Honey's left ear has another tattoo. That tattoo has her racing registration number. And that's a number that I can look up on a website, greyhounddata.com. I can look that number up and find out all kinds of information about Honey's history. And that's how I discovered all about Honey's racing history, that she won 9 of her 77 races and all those pieces of information. Got to see it all on that website. What I found that was even more interesting than learning about Honey's racing history was on that website I got to see Honey's family history. And so I got to see the names of Honey's 9 brothers and sisters. So Honey's name was Oh Yeah Honey. She had a brother, oh yeah, Mr. Fliss, oh yeah, Dusty, oh yeah, Angel Foot, oh yeah, Angie. I got to see the names of Honey's parents, her grandparents. I even got to see the names of Honey's great-grandparents and her great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents, going back to when this guy was president. Now who's this? Yeah, and does anybody know how long ago he was president? Way long ago. That's a very politically correct answer. I like that. Does anybody know how long ago he was president? Well, you're 200 years off, but I like what you're thinking. About 1860. So about 150 years ago, he was president, and I could see all of Honey's family history going back that far. In fact, I could see all of Honey's history going back to when he was a baby. And I sure hope he didn't really look like that when he was a baby. That's a rough look. And so I see about 200 years of Honey's history. And so I can see all that. And there's one name that showed up on that website that my 6-year-old daughter says is the funniest thing she knows about Honey. And that is that we found out that Honey's mom is named Stinky Foot. That's almost worse than being born looking like that. And so Honey's mom is Stinky Foot, and she would tell everybody she would know about Honey's mom, Stinky Foot, Stinky Foot, Stinky Foot. By the way, this is Stinky Foot, and she's a sweet dog. And in fact, she was in our house for about a month this winter. And so she came to a few schools with Honey and me, and she was a wonderful dog. And the person that did adopt her changed her name to Daisy. And that worked out really nicely in our house because I have a third grade boy. And calling out the back door, come on in, Stinky Foot, doesn't really help, because then I would say, no, the four-legged one. And so Stinky Foot, not so good. Daisy worked very nicely, and Honey works nicely in our house too. Because, sometimes my wife will say, hey, Honey, would you like a treat? And I'll pretend like she's talking to me. Even though I know it's not a dog. And so we'll talk a little bit more about Honey and dogs and all kinds of things. Before we talk more about dogs, though, I thought we should talk a little bit about zebras. If you picture a zebra in your mind, does it have red and white stripes?
No.
Is it like this, black and white stripes?
Yeah.
All right, so we all agree. What if I ask you to picture an elephant? Would it be purple?
No.
Probably what, gray?
Yeah.
Long trunk, big ears, big butt? Right?
Yeah.
All right, okay, so we all agree on that. What if I said picture a dog? If I say picture a dog, tell me what's the first dog that pops into your mind. A poodle, okay. Australian Shepherd. I wonder how that one came into your mind. That's good. We'll get the girl, then we'll get you.
A dog, Wishbone. He's a dog.
Oh. The detective dog, like a beagle, I think he is?
No, it was Jack Russell.
Oh, Jack Russell, that's right. And what kind of dog did you have? German Shepherd. Okay, very good. Greyhound.
Honey.
You picture Honey.
A border collie.
Border Collie. Let's get two more. Husky. A schnoodle. I love that. That's what a schnauzer and a poodle.
Yeah.
That is okay.
I have
Now, see, I'm never quite sure what I'm going to get when I ask that question. One of the last schools I went to, this little girl raised her hand and she said, Schnorky. And I never heard of a Schnorky before. And that's a schnauzer and a Yorkie. My guess is that a dachshund and a Yorkie is a dorky, but I'm not so So, now, can we agree that all the dogs that you guys mentioned, do they all look the same? No. And I love that about dogs. If I asked you to picture a person, I would get just as many different answers. When I think of a person, I think of my mom, I think of my best friend, I think of my soccer coach, I think of my brother, I think of somebody on TV. And those people you picture, they might be tall, short, old, young, dark hair, light hair, great at basketball, great at spelling, great at math, great at soccer. People have all different kinds of talents and all different kinds of characteristics that make us all special. And dogs are so much like that. And so just like we can't be put into a category like a zebra or an elephant or a flamingo or a cheetah or a giraffe, dogs can't either. So dogs come in different sizes and different colors and are good at different things. And I write stories about some of those dogs and the jobs they have that make them good at different things. Now, if I ask you to picture a dog with a job, what kind of dogs come to mind? Golden Retriever, that's a good one. And Golden Retrievers can be used for so many different kinds of things. Golden Retrievers and Labradors are like the Swiss Army knife of dogs because they can be used for guide dogs, search and rescue dogs, police work, all kinds of things. Most importantly, for a Golden Retriever, they're often used as a guide dog, helping somebody who can't see, right? And if you can't see and you live here in Wheaton, and you want to go into Chicago because you want to go to a concert, maybe you want to go to a restaurant, you want to go shopping, you can go to the train station here in town. The dog will get you on the train, take you into Chicago, cross busy streets, cross icy sidewalks, cross construction zones, and get you to the restaurant, get you to the shopping, go to the concert, sit next to you the whole time, and get you home safely at the end of the day. And so they're remarkable at what they do. Right here. Labradors, and they can be used for guide dog work. They can be used as hunting dogs. Did you have a certain job in mind for a Labrador? Okay. I'm going to show you a picture of a Labrador in a second. A really interesting job that dog has. What do you say? Greyhounds as a racing dog. And hang on to that thought for a minute. Here's a dog that's had a very important job. We have, especially this spring in Japan. Did you hear about the terrible earthquake and tsunami? This is a dog being lowered from a helicopter into a building that had collapsed after the earthquake. And so that's a search and rescue dog. And so dogs like this were used right away after those earthquakes, like last year in Haiti. And they helped find anybody who was still trapped in those buildings. And they would get them, they'd get them off to the hospital. And if they went to the hospital and they stayed there for a while, a lot of times they'll meet dogs like this, a hospital therapy dog. And I think CDH has this program where they have hospital therapy dogs come in of all different types. Little dogs, big dogs, dogs in silly hats.